So I've been feeling like the fall, some massive changes are going to be happening, and I feel like for myself, but then I'm also feeling it's probably not just for me, it's probably for the collective. So I just want to ask Prime Creator about that, and if we can get any information about what's going to be happening this fall. Is there a forecast Prime Creator would like to give us? So we'll see what comes through. Dear ones, you are asking about the energies of your fall 2019. The timelines for this are a bit scattered at this moment, although there is one consistent timeline having to do with disclosure and illumination. Not disclosure in terms of revealing your star brothers and sisters in physical form on planet Earth, but disclosure in terms of illuminating what has been hidden within your governments and banking systems. Illumination of what has been occurring behind the scenes with those that you would call the Cabal or Illuminati, the pedophile rings, the revealing of the fraud that has been occurring in the banking systems. You will begin to see more mass media coverage of these things. And this coverage will occur in the form of seeding, meaning not full-on reveals, but closer to hints of what has been happening. People in the media hinting at things that have been hidden from you or from the collective. For many of you watching these videos, they are not hidden from you. When I refer to the scattering of timelines, I am referring to the more specific disclosures of these things. For many people have been trying to bring this information out, and it has been stifled, and these attempts have been thwarted. And so there is a timeline for September for information about the pedophile rings to be released. But this timeline is not fully solid because there are still many energies and forces that do continue to have some degree of power that prevents the full release of this information. In some ways, however, dear ones, none of these things are what is most important. Yes, it would change the perception of the collective. It would be very revealing and illuminating to the collective if this information was to come forward. But even if this information does not come forward in the autumn, the energies are still coming forward. The energies are revealing themselves. And what I mean by this is the energies of illumination are quite strong. And so even if specific information is not revealed to the collective, the energy of this information is being revealed to the subconscious at the very least. And the receiving of this energy by the collective subconscious is creating a shift in the collective. And this is truly what is most important, is that the shift is continuing to be created regardless of what is publicly known or not. For the energy of illumination is quite strong. The energy of love, of light, the energies of compassion for humanity are raising in volume and frequency every day. For those of you who are particularly sensitive to these energies, there will be times when this feels quite wonderful, and times where this may feel quite challenging indeed. And it is not because you are not feeling the energies as challenging because there are so many deep remaining shadows within you. You are feeling these energies as challenging because you are feeling the collective reaction to them. And so I would remind you, dear ones, and invite you to come back to your center, to remember who you are, to remember what energies are yours and which are not, so that you can stay centered within your own being and your own energetic field. And in fact, the more you are able to do this, the greater assistance you are to the collective as you become an anchor for the light energies. You become a pillar. You become a solid assistance for the collective. For as the collective is reeling in confusion, as the collective feels the tumultuousness and the chaos, if you are remaining solid in your energy, you are like the stakes that hold the tent down in the severe wind. The collective will get through this with your help. And so I thank you, dear ones, for those of you who are playing this role. This autumn is also a time where you will go through great changes. For some of you personally, and indeed for the collective. And as these changes unfold before you, I do invite you to do your best to go with them, to flow with the change, for they are assisting your highest path. And even if the changes do not make sense, even if the changes are sudden, to trust always that these changes are for your benefit and you are supported through them. And so, dear ones, do your best not to go into fear or confusion when these changes occur. Because indeed, they are supporting you in your upgrades, in your expansion and your ascension path. Now, many are wondering if your autumn will be a time where the banking systems crash, where things fall apart. And I will say to you, dear ones, that even though many are predicting this, those predicting this are not seeing the full picture of the support that is being provided for humanity For you continue on the main timeline of the ease and grace timeline. And even though it may not always feel graceful to you, in comparison to what this could be, trust me, dear ones, this is quite graceful. And as we have spoken before, the way to assist this timeline in staying strong is to visualize, sense, feel, and know that this is, in truth, what is occurring. That things are unfolding with ease and grace to the greatest degree possible. And so I would also say to you, dear ones, please do not underestimate your role in co-creating this timeline. Those of you that are the strongest on your spiritual path are bringing through great contribution to this ease and grace timeline. And so I would ask you, dear ones, regardless of what is going on in your personal lives, to remain steadfast in co-creating this timeline. To the best of your abilities, dear ones.
In regards to the financial changes that are coming this fall, what are the best areas of investment one can make?
I will answer this in two ways, dear one. Two areas of strength are cryptocurrency and gold, or the dollar will not be strong continuously. It is still useful, but moving forward into the future, it will not be your strongest asset. The other area of investment to consider is your spiritual growth, your personal and emotional well-being, your personal growth. Find ways to deepen your spiritual practice. Find ways to accelerate your healing. And whether this is by working with a practitioner or using the tools you already have, invest your time, invest your energy, invest your financial resources in your spiritual path. Because then, regardless of what happens on the external, you have a strong center from which you can navigate changes quickly if needed. Now you are asking, how can one tell the difference between a vision and what is actually happening in the third eye? When there is a third eye vision, it is truly because the vision is occurring. Now, what may be perceived as confusing or tricky to you is that the dimension or the time or space in which this vision occurring is not always real time. It is not always 3D. Sometimes the vision is occurring on another planet. Sometimes the vision is occurring in another dimension. Sometimes it is occurring at another time, such as the future or the past, in your linear understanding of time. When you have a third eye vision, it is not always real in your understanding of this is happening to me or for me right now in this third dimensional experience. It may be that it is occurring in another way. But if your third eye is recording it, seeing it, sensing it, it is happening in some way.
I was watching an interview with researcher John Lear, who was the son of Lear, the father of Lear Jet Company. And he seems to have a lot of inside information about secret space program operations, military operations, and things of this nature. And he made the statement that NASA has known that we have 39 planets in our solar system, but they haven't been disclosed to us. Is that true?
Yes, dear one, this is true.
There was a dream with that King Kong. He wanted me and some other people here to pin on a board like butterflies and other insects so he can learn or enjoy us or something like that. I said, I can show you more things, and touched his forehead. Maybe it gave him visions or opened its third eye. There was more in the dream, but I didn't remember.
Dear one, you are the aspect of yourself that is a powerful creator being is beginning to do more work in other realms. And the reason this is important and significant is because the work is done in other realms first before it gets to the third dimension. And so this is true for all who are assuming their creator roles, that when you intentionally and consciously create, you are setting up the codes and the structures and the matrices in other realms first before they reach 3D. And so for you in this dream, you were giving the creation codes to this being so that he could also participate in creation.
It was actually yesterday. So much, so much energy was being released. My brother texted me with some dramatic stuff. Two of my friends broke down and cried with dramatic stuff. So how I dealt with it was I actually did ask you and Mother, Father, God, that I divorced myself from any drama with my brother and with my friends, but I do want to be supportive. And I know they're going through this for their own personal growth. So what I did with my friends is I just listened. I said, I'm sorry you're going through this. There's financial difficulty, relationship difficulty, family drama. So, and then when they left, I just said a prayer for them, but I had to separate myself from that energy. Did I do the correct thing? What is the correct thing to do now that the energies are so strong, everybody's releasing? What is the best way to deal, be supportive, but also keep the energy from getting into oneself? Thank you.
You have heard the word namaste. To see the light of the divine in another is where you want to put your focus. So instead of allowing the drama to go on and be expressed over and over, to maintain the intention of connecting with that person's light, that person's wisdom, that person's higher self. And to perhaps even ask questions that reflect back to them that you see their wisdom and you see their light, or to make statements that reflect back to them that you see their wisdom and their light. This takes a bit of practice, especially those of you who are sensitive and empathic. But the practice I have given you in previous conversations, and that this channel has focused on, to activate and stay centered with your soul essence and energy, if you practice this when you are in the presence of one who is bringing drama, to go back to this practice of staying with your soul energy, and then to hold a loving space for one who needs it, and to offer them support in the sense of reflecting their light back to them. So it is fine to say, I'm sorry this has happened for you. And I know that you are a strong, powerful person, full of wisdom, who will get through this experience and become even stronger on the other side. This will look or feel a bit different for each one practicing this, but this is simply an example to use as a template. Because there is a delicate balance. You do want to acknowledge the pain that the person is in. They are human. They are having a human experience. This is not something you want to gloss over. But you do not want to feed the drama energy. And this is the distinction. And so you can acknowledge the pain, but not feed it. And not continue the conversation in a way that feeds the drama.
About the 12 strands of DNA, as we have now only 2 strands, it was said in that video that the other one are not really physically removed, but still around in different dimensions, so they can be connected again later at a later time.
And what is the question, dear one?
Yeah, if that is right, or what's your perspective on it? Like other people, they're always talking about the hidden or the junk DNA. Yeah? That could be maybe something thinking that there are still the deactivated strands.
Yes, dear one, you have many more strands of DNA than just 2. Some of them you have evolved beyond, and so they do reside in other dimensions, other realms. Some of them you have not yet integrated, and these also reside in other realms and dimensions. Some of them are integrating as strands of light, meaning they are not yet physically integrated, Many of you have two of these light strands. It is a bit more complex than this channel can translate at this time. I will attempt to work with her in this information, and perhaps you can ask this question again at another time.
Yeah, whether those activations or integrations from the DNA strands run at the same, let's say, percentage or what is integrating the light body, or is that a totally different process?
It is not completely different. The light body integration is more of an overall, larger perspective process, and the DNA integration is a nuance of the light body integration process. Or the light body cannot be integrated fully if the DNA light strands are not integrated fully. This needs to happen before a full light body integration. Not necessarily that the light body DNA strands must turn physicalized, but they must be integrated into the human body in their light strand form. Dear ones, I wish to remind you of your powers and abilities as creators. Many of you are stepping up, becoming more confident, or at the very least, wishing to be more confident in your powers of creating and manifesting. When I speak of your powers of creation, as we discussed earlier in this conversation, part of this process is creating in other realms first. Generally speaking, you are creating in higher frequency realms. And your job is to, once the vision is created in the higher frequency realms, to bring your creations into physicality. This is the spot where many of you are getting stuck. You are able to vision, you are able to dream, you are able to feel your creations in these higher frequency realms. But there are many subconscious belief systems in many of you about your abilities to make these creations physical. It is important that you are maintaining the highest frequency vibration possible so that you are the conduit for your higher frequency creations. Your creations cannot come through you unless your frequency is supporting these creations to show up. Remembering that you are the channel for these creations. And in some cases, other people are the channels as well. You are not doing this alone. But it is key to maintain the highest frequency possible so that what you are creating can indeed come into physical representation. To the degree that you believe in yourself and that you believe in your powers as creators, is the degree to which your creations can come into physical manifestation. Some of you are somewhat naturals at this. You do not have belief systems in your way. You have either healed this or you did not come in with these limiting belief systems. Others of you need to do some work around believing in yourself so that your creations can come into physical being. And dear ones, this is the best work you can do. For as you are co-creating heaven on earth, you are a very important part of the shift on this planet. And it is wise and important for you to take your part quite seriously. Yes, to play and have fun, always. But to always remember the reason why you are here on this planet in the first place. And so I thank you, dear ones, for taking the time to commune with me today, for taking the time every day to be in your spiritual practices and to be disciplined in maintaining and raising your frequency. I thank you, dear ones. I just want to thank Prime Creator for all those words and reminders. I'm still kind of taking it all in because I feel like maybe there was some specific things for me perhaps. And so I hope you're feeling the same way, that there were things directly meant for you and that you're resonating with the things that Prime Creator was saying. So thank you. Like Prime Creator said, thank you for tuning in to this video and spending time with us today. I truly appreciate it. And if you want more of this energy that comes directly into the Creation Temple, do join us, because we are meeting every week live via video, and Prime Creator is showing up like very tangibly for those on the call directly with us. So much love to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.